My light fell down. Hi, I'm Tiffany. This is the Building the Balanced Life podcast. Today I'm talking about what you are forgetting and why it hurts your freelance business. This is going to be a quick and easy one because that's the point of this lesson. We solve problems. That's what we're forgetting in our businesses. The goal of our business is not to add purpose to our life. The goal of our business is not to fill time. It's not even to earn money necessarily, because we can earn money a variety of different ways. The reason that we have a business, a freelance business, consulting, whatever our business is we are trying to solve a problem. And sometimes, even on this podcast, I forget that that's the focus of what I'm doing, and I get rambling, telling stories, and just kind of talking to you because I enjoy connecting with you out there. And oh, by the way, thank you. We've had quite a jump in our viewership, particularly on Apple Podcasts. So if you're on Apple, hi, thanks for coming. You can connect with me personally over at my Substack, which is buildingthebalancedlife.substack.com. So I'd love to see you guys over there if you haven't already joined me. And if so, tell me that you've come from the podcast and say hi. Okay, there was my social thing. But that's part of what I'm trying to build. I'm trying to build a sense of community to solve problems. And in order to do that, I need to hear what your problems are. So that is actually part of what I do. But when we start to ramble, when our social media posts are just about being chatty and, hey, how are you? What do you think of this? Have you ever experienced that? That's good for social media with our friends. But when we're building our business, we need to always be focused on what is the problem that I solve, who is the person that has that problem, and how can I serve that person? Because when we don't do that, our quality can go down, our responsiveness can go down, and we can find ourselves getting distracted, chasing things all around us, going on to various websites and wondering why things aren't working out, trying to read up on leadership and time management and all these things, when really all that's missing is we have forgotten our focus. In the last 2 weeks, I've really taken the time to focus in on what I'm doing with my business, why, and what I want my life to look like. I believe I shared with you last week about the training that I'm putting up over on my Building the Balanced Life Substack. I do have a free side there that has like nice weekly tips to help you out. I also post up notes and share excerpts from some of my books over there. On the paid side, I just got, actually it's not up yet. I'm putting it up in the next couple of days. I apologize. I'll be putting up on the paid side about building your ideal life. And that's really what has gotten me thinking about this and what role does my professional life play in my life at large. So when you lose your focus on what the purpose of your business is, why you actually started it outside of financial, you can start to chase algorithms, try to sound like everybody else, use the keywords. Keywords are great. SEO is great. Using these tools is fine, but you still have to have the majority of what you put out there be your voice, your unique take, what makes you special and why people should pick you over others, particularly if you have an online business, because they have so many thousands, literally thousands of people to choose from. What is it that you're bringing to them that makes you someone that they should work with or pick above others? Because when we don't do that, we lose our uniqueness. We use what makes people want to work with us, and we do just blend into those thousands of other people. What makes us distinctive is the one or two things that we do exceptionally well. Maybe you are amazing at project management and you can take a whole bunch of stuff and put together a calendar for your client and organize it, get it all set so that they know every single day what they need to do. Maybe you're really great at SEO optimization. Maybe you know how to write ads that convert. People will be hiring you like crazy. Maybe you're not online. Maybe you're local and you're a virtual assistant or you're a personal assistant. Maybe it doesn't even matter. Any number of things. Think about what it is that you do specifically that makes you irreplaceable and hone in on that. Build up on that. Because when you don't do that, you start chasing money. You start chasing algorithms. You start chasing what everybody else is doing, and you're all going after the same thing. And when you start chasing money, you start bringing in all kinds of unnecessary things, like you're throwing things against the wall, trying to figure out which thing's going to stick. And you lose what could be your biggest asset. It also can lead to getting really, really burned out, because when you're not being yourself, you're constantly trying to learn how to be everybody else. And it's exhausting trying to figure out how to be somebody that you're not in order to get people to like you. That's why school was so hard. You wanted to be one of the popular kids. I never was. And I finally decided my last 3 years of high school, I really didn't care anymore. But prior to that time, I always wanted to be a popular kid. I wanted people to like me. I wanted people to be friends with me. And I realized when I got older that I had a couple of really great friends, and that's all I needed. They liked me. They cared about me. And the same is true with your clients. If you get a group of really great, loyal clients who work with you in your company and, enthusiastically promote you, that can be a game changer above all else. So think about, what problem do you solve, and what is it that you do better than the competition? Why should someone hire you? And this may seem funny, but how can they hire you? I was actually thinking about this. Was that paper in front of you the whole time? Sorry about that. I had a little piece of paper there. I think people often forget when they're working in a social media outlet to try to promote themselves, which a lot of you do, that your customer doesn't know how to find you. You may talk about things that you want them to buy. You may talk about it excessively, in fact, but you don't always point them to not just the link or the homepage, but what's the process. For example, when someone wants to work with me, they have to go through a course first. Why do I do that? Because I want them to have some basic foundational things. The course is going to be much cheaper than hiring me, scheduling time to work with me in terms of my hourly rate. And so they have some fundamental things at the beginning. Now, that doesn't mean that it's a long course. It is usually, it has to do with the area that they're in. It's like basically a frequently asked question. Okay, here's something that may help you have some foundational information that will help you. Writers, here's some things that I go through with almost every writer. It'll save you a lot of money if you look through this first, check your own writing. If it's somebody that I'm coaching on how to build their new business, particularly on this course that I'm getting started, which is going to be primarily for virtual assistants, but will also work for personal assistants, I would have them go through that first before they did coaching with me, because the coaching would be more expensive and a lot of their questions are going to be answered, especially if they're just starting out in that process. Maybe you have a different process. Maybe you have a process of just a Q&A. Maybe you collect a retainer. Maybe you have a waiting list, whatever it is. You can have a process that says, okay, here I've introduced the topic. This is what I do. And people go, okay, they engage with you. They sign up. Maybe you're just a retail outlet, and I don't mean that negatively, but maybe what you do is you're a retail outlet. Well, there's still some things they have to come to you. They have to, pay with these for certain things. How can they engage with you? Do you do online commerce? Do you do holds? There's all kinds of things to think about. What is the process? We talk about sales funnels a lot, but what is the sales funnel for a consultant outside of just trying to develop a customer? Do you have a engagement process? And not only that, but are you constantly trying to find new customers? Or are you really working to serve and get repeat customers? That's where my business really grew as writing career coach. Is I had a core group of writers that I started working with, and a lot of them met me at conferences, and I would speak at a conference. Incidentally, if you would like to have me speak at your event online at a conference, you can reach out to me. I am doing that again. I stopped when my kids were in high school and early college, and now they're all out on their own, living in their own apartments and houses and things. And so I'm opening that back up. So if it's of interest to you, please reach out to me, because I'm starting to, get my calendar going on that. But I would go to a writing conference and I would teach a class there. And oftentimes I wouldn't charge except for like transportation expenses or a portion thereof. There were a few conferences that didn't even have that much money, and I went to because I had developed a group of people that I really enjoyed working with and who really liked to see me. And I would do like small one-on-one coaching there, like a 20-minute meeting. And we would do that. And then they would have me do some edits with them. And then we would continue on with, and so on and so forth. And it's because I was excellent at what I did that they came back and they repeated and they wanted to have my new products and they wanted to know when I released new books and new trainings and new courses and things. They wanted to have me back multiple years for the writers conference. I think the one I went to like 3 or 4 times before I stepped back so that I could spend more time with the kids. Actually, there were a couple of them that I did that with. And because, it's not often that you really connect with a group. So think about now what the problem is that you solve. What is the thing that you do? How is it that you're connecting? Are you making it clear to people how to work with you, the kinds of people you work with, the way you work? Or are you just assuming they'll know? I heard somebody speak, I wish I could remember his name, but he said, confused people don't buy. Confused people don't, purchase, don't follow up. They'll just find the next person. So make it very clear. So I'll practice what I preach. The best way to reach me is by going to one of my Substacks. You could go to buildingthebalancedlife.substack.com, which is where I talk about the balanced life topics. Writingcareercoach.substack.com is where I'm focusing on writers, working with authors and aspiring writers and people who earn a living with writing, whether you write white papers, not so much journalism necessarily, but article writing to submit as a freelancer. I do talk about that. I have decisiontreelearning.substack.com, which is for educational resources. And then I have learningresourcesonline.substack.com, which is specifically where I'm going to be teaching VAs and personal assistants and working on my course there. So if you'd like to connect with me with any of those, if you would like me to speak at your event, whether virtual or in person, reach out to me. As I said, I'm starting to work on my calendar and I would love the opportunity to talk to you about that. That's for homeschooling groups, writing groups, and small business groups. I prefer new and aspiring entrepreneurs rather than, C-suite or something like that. That's not really my market, unless it's about work-life balance. Okay. Well, I think I'll leave it there, and I would love to hear some of your feedback about what it is you feel that you do that's unique, maybe some mistakes that you made, and some new things you're going to be doing as a result of either this particular podcast or other things you've been thinking about here recently. If this is just like, oh my goodness, I've been thinking of this topic already. It's so funny. This is what she talked about. Then share with that as well. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here today because I promised you a short podcast. Remember, we all fail sometimes. Just try to fail forward. And I'll see you next time.